As you start a business, you don't start a business because the other person started. You start a business because there is a gap. Gap may be in terms of demand. Gap may be in terms of geography. It could be the same product, it is somewhere else, but it's not yet in a geographical area that you are seeking to establish. That could also be a gap. Value creation. You can make money faster through creating value than through extraction. Many times you want to do business to extract money from people's pockets. And that is why you realize, and especially in a church setup, when you do business, you want people to sympathize with you because you go to the same church to buy you a product for that reason. That is not a reason enough. Just because I know you and you are my relative, you ought to create value. It is me who should be looking for your product. You shouldn't overconvince me simply by appealing to the soft side of how we know each other. That means there are some victims here. The other thing, bookkeeping. These things, they sound very banal. They sound easy. Bookkeeping. There is a story I keep giving all the time, and I'll give it. There is a time, me and my siblings, tukaenda nyumbani. Of course, we have a cow like all of you in Mashinani, or we had. So my mother anatembea Nairobi, siwezi lala hapa, nani atakamua ng'ombe? All the time anaumwa na mgongo, nini? Ng'ombe. So siku moja tukaenda, kamwambia madheka hapa chini, kuja na kalamu. Hebu tuone hii ukulima yako inakufikisha wapi? Unapeleka kwa dairy how many liters? These liters. Okay. Ukiendea, unapeleka dairy, then unaendea chakula ya ng'ombe kwa dairy. Hata hiyo arrangement iko hapa Nyeri. So you are given the net after wametoa chakula. Hiyo net unalipa mfanyikazi mwenye alikusaidia siku 2-3. Na unalipa pahali umekoboa, you have leased some land for Napier grass. After we did the math, we realized, I'm using that as a businessman. This is a businessman, a farmer, you can say now, in agro processing or something like that, to sound sophisticated. Now, after kufanya hesabu, we realized the M-Pesa we sent home to the mother, to my mother, we don't send her money. We said what? We said the cow. Only that we use her phone. Because after doing that math, it taught me one thing that we all do, especially owners of small businesses. We never track our progress. So we never know whether we are mark timing or we are making progress. And the best way to do that is to use data. Data could be in terms of number of customers served, in terms of bottom line. Me, I like looking at bottom line. After all is said and done, it is not if you are a person doing oil, your business is not to fuel other people's cars. Your business is to make money. In economics class, we say, it is not out of the benevolence of the baker that we enjoy our daily bread. It is out of their selfish interest to make money that we get Ken Blessed coming to our local shopping center every day. And in the economic interaction, selfishness is what bites the economy. You buy a matatu there seeking to make money, and me, I open a hardware seeking to make money. That interaction of the market is what creates the economy. So as you start your small business early enough, track progress so that you actually know whether you are overstaying in a redundant area for too long. In my village, just like yours, my former teacher retires. The first thing they do is to buy a matatu. Or, hapo kwa shopping center yetu, anajenga hapo. Pesa ya retire. Karibu wote. What am I trying to say? Those businesses are good. They are good because they facilitate movement and they facilitate trading. But probably even my brother and sister in the same industry, there is much more they can do around there. What am I trying to say? Kenya is also a plot country. Yani kama huna we measure your success by how many plots you have. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Nikienda kumaliza. By the way, I'm almost finishing. Now, allow me now these minutes, because I can see here, next time, this one here, this is the lead sponsor. We would want in the next few years to come, the owner of this lead sponsor will be from this hall. And therefore allow me the remaining minutes, even if you do not understand what I'm saying, and I only talk to two people who will do that, I'll be satisfied. So if you do not understand the things I'll be saying, uniwie radhi. Because I would rather talk to one table who may actualize, become this, than talk to all of you and start small dots of businesses. And because we have brain and capacity to all be here, let in the next few years, there'll actually be an auction in this hall, all of us bidding to be this. I'm talking about how we must fashion ourselves in this hall to move from being net worth of 500,000, net worth of a millionaire, and because all wealth is granted by God, that we also break that ceiling. Those figures we hear of billionaires, we also aim. And number one, moving from that comfort, I'm trying that we move from that comfort of being a dealer for Oilibia or for Total, to being the Total yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. From being a dealer of Safaricom to being a competitor. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to talk about. Mumeanza kuenda chini mnauliza sasa huyu mtu ni vitu gani hizo? When you want to move to that level, you do not own 100% of your business. There is no billionaire in the entire world who owns 100% of the business they are associated with. None. Mark Zuckerberg, in terms of Facebook, in fact, let me just to be precise, Jeff Bezos owns 12.7% of Amazon. Elon Musk owns 13% of Tesla. Bernard Arnault, the one for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, is is the richest man in France actually. He owns 46% of LVMH. Warren Buffett, the renowned investor of Berkshire Hathaway, owns only 16% of Berkshire Hathaway. Larry Ellison, the one for Oracle, owns 35% of Oracle. Bill Gates, I talk to you now, all of you know Microsoft is owned by Bill Gates. He owns less than 1% of Microsoft. Coming to Kenya, when you ask somebody who owns Cooperative Bank, they tell you Muriuki, the CEO. He is actually from here, Nyeri. He owns less than 5% of Cooperative Bank. But what is 5% of Cooperative Bank? A bank with a market cap of around 20 billion Kenya shillings. 5% means he is going to over 6 billion Kenya shillings. 5%. Now you with your 100% of your business, how much is it worth? Big companies like the one I quoted, including Equity Bank, including their own headquarters, is leased. They don't own. So you want to tell me, In your mind, you have more CFAs, you have more actuaries, you have more financial advisors than Equity Bank. Old Mutual that bought even UAP here in Kenya. Old Mutual, you know it, is bigger in South Africa. Old Mutual, I saw in the Business Daily this week, they have put up for sale all their real estate assets in the entire East Africa. Wanasema, please come and buy. Hatutaki. Do you know, including that landmark Kitol building in Nairobi? Ile Christmas wanawekaga vitu hivi, mataa mingi tunaona huko. Hata hiyo wanauza. You can go buy. Maybe it's around 5 billion. Now, this is a company that is already divesting from real estate. And I am saying that with all due respect with my brothers who are in that business. I'm now talking to the buyer, not the seller. Other than the house that you live in, and other than the farm that you need, what is this plot you have in Kitegera, and the other one in Kamuru, and the other one in Kigajo, and the other one in Narumoro? Ni ya nini, ni ya kufanya nini? I am not saying that I am an oracle, but I just want to tell you, mimi sina pahali nachukuaga rent. Because you realize this business of building things, building, you are actually doing it for the satisfaction of the people who live in, not for you to make money. Because the return on investment on a flat, the return on investment is less than 8%. People will keep saying, oh, 12 or 15%, toa yote, and you give it time. It will oscillate and still settle down below 8%. That is the math even Equity Bank does. Badala ya kuown building, ati tunasema Equity HQ atol building or the 5 billion, mwaki ana order, 5 billion ata ni kired micro loans. They'll give me an ROE of double digit, maybe 15%. Why can't I lend you the 5 billion mukiwa wegi? By end of the year, munilipe interest, let's say 18% of 5 billion is how much? 900 million. Why can't I give you, munilipe 900 million per year, then nilipe rent 400 million, then 500 million in faida. Let me ask you, when you build a house anywhere, including anywhere in Nyeri, your utility as an investor of that house is only the money you get, because you have no utility of living there. So your math must be very direct. Musianza hizo vitu kuwa sensational, owning a flat, nini. Let's be practical. You have 8 flats, manyumba mrefu hivi. Do you live there? So why did you build? To make money, is it? Is that the most optimal manner of putting your money? That should be your only consideration. Now, usileta emotions. Because if you live there, you can justify and say a utility of a house where you live cannot be justified by how much you are getting. You don't live there. You've not been there for 6 months. Your caretaker lives there more times than you. Then, watu hawapumui, kuna furaha tunacheka ingine, and munaonaga all my friends who build, they are always on phone. Mwaga mchanga, kakoto, there is always a story hapo. Mahiga masione mwaiga, kidimaithi, Even if you want to own that flat, why can't you invest where you are getting double digit? After getting that double digit, wait for your brother angangane na simiti kuibiwa, angangane na nini. Wewe ukipata ROE yako ya 18%, after 5 years, through the faida peke yake, uende ununue akuwa amechoka on your behalf. Fanya hesabu, my friend.